All right. We are back for a little bit of pre-launch trading. Let me just make sure that everything looks like we're reaching up for that 5-minute EQ range. And let's see kind of how we react when we get there. I'm just going to bring up YouTube so that way I can make sure everything's chilling with my sound. So yeah, we're just checking out the EQ here on the 5-minute. Let's see where we're at.
So yeah, we're just checking out.
Gotta have that. Check my sound. Okay. Alrighty, so I took a short there at that 5-minute impulse EQ, also within the 5-minute fair value gap as we swept highs. I took it with, you know, a mid-size here. Definitely gonna look to clear out some of the trade as we kind of work on it here. So if we look at the hourly seems like, we're due for some sort of retracement. 15-minute is kind of fresh off of a retracement, so we may actually try to be a little bit more conservative with our downside targets. It is lunch hour, so I'm looking for us to probably sweep some lows. So right now the position's moving against us a little bit. We do now put in the SMT on the 1 minute chart, which I do like. Typically I'd add into that, but I'm just going to hang out for a second and wait. All within this 5-minute impulse. So we're just looking for, now that we balanced the midpoint of that 5-minute impulse leg, see if we could hold the short for a little bit. Let's look at the 1 minute. We are holding the bottom of that 5-minute fair value gap. Like, I don't like how we're bouncing around there. But we are holding the midpoint of that 5-minute as well. We're kind of rejecting off the EQ as well as the midpoint. So just trying to stay patient. We're also in a 15-minute fair value gap as well. That's nested. It's a lot of time to this candle, this hourly candle. There's another 20 minutes left. I mean, excuse me, 40 minutes on the hourly candle. So trying to be patient with this one. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Just a lot of wicks, you know, a lot of downside wicks. I wonder if YM took a daily low. No. The position's running against me. Still holding the SMT. That could have been a nice long up to these highs there. So ES just invalidated the SMT on the highs, which was pretty annoying, but sometimes you can get the push lower no matter what anyway. Just going to try to retreat back to the 5-minute to see where we're at. Let me throw this up there. So this right here is not a great look. The wick balance in there. I have to cut this one short. Yeah, just a lot of back and forth there. We've ran into about the quarter point of the 15-minute fair value gap, which is right around here. I'll show you that on this chart. I'm adding 3 more there. I'm going to throw the stop right up here. Yeah. All right, that's fine. Just for, maybe catch a little retracement lower like that. Stop was too tight. Probably should have put it up here. That's annoying. Just being greedy with the stop placement. You know. Going for the 5-minute rejection. Let's see how we react around the midway point of that 5-minute impulse range. Recognizing that I was just cut out slightly early. And that the 5-minute body was respecting the high end of its fair value gap. So we're just watching for ES to take this low and or NQ to do the same. So we were respecting that range. Oh, that's why. I get long there. I think we're just respecting the midpoint of the range. It's having me buy the absolute tops. I'm adding into it just for it to take a high. See if we can kind of expand up into the next 5-minute fair value gap. Took it off. Just not in the right headspace. Clearly slightly tilted. Yeah, I'm in trouble. It's a long. Retook the short just off that SMT and looking at the quarter point of the 15-minute fair value gap, but that was just not it. I'm watching the 15-minute fair value gap, see if we want to tap into the CE there. I'm going to trail aggressively up into that gap, lock in at least 100. So NQ is moving into the midpoint of its 15-minute fair value gap, up high. ES moving into an old inverted 1 hour, which is what I have marked out here. YM is slow to play catch up on the high, so we're kind of looking at that for potential swing point opportunity. Nobody's moved into this 12-10 candle, so if we do short, we'll be waiting for someone to do that. We get short there on the YM divergence. Just try to claw some back. So YM being the weaker pair, then presented as the stronger pair on these sub time frames, sub 1 minute time frames. Also, while NQ was tapping up into the 15-minute fair value gap CE. So I just marked out the quarter point of the 5-minute fair value gap as a point of interest. I'm going to add there. Just try not to be afraid of this move. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart on my other screen. Looking for a low fruit objective, which would be 755. Stopping just shy of that low. It's interesting. I try not to let it shake me out there. ES hasn't probed into the low either. I mean, YM has, but that was the weaker pair anyway, so I'm okay with that. And again, we were looking at the other 1-minute low anyway for, you know, something more of a target. Cover one there. Moving the rest of the stop to break even. Let's go back to that 1-minute chart. So this was the gap that nobody had entered right here. So one of the indexes will look to enter into this gap. You can see it's highlighted everywhere. And so we'll just hold until somebody does. So I'll highlight it on YM. Highlight it on ES. And then finally on NQ. Covering 3 into that. As we're finding some resistance from the fair value gap, the 5-minute there, and YM is close enough to its target. So bleeding through that 5-minute fair value gap bullish, which I like. Hopefully the idea is to invert this, us not come anywhere near my stop, and we can hold this, you know, this trade a little while longer. So YM into the 15-minute fair value gap and an immediate rejection to the upside. We haven't closed the 5-minute bar yet, so if it does close above, then, you know, it's not as great for our short. Again, we got short because of the micro divergence from these highs up, these highs down. And again, because YM was the stronger asset, so YM making the climb higher helped with, you know, it should have been the stronger assets sub time frame, smaller time frames, and the stronger assets typically become weaker on these smaller time frames when those true kind of pivots happen. So that's a bit of a timing edge. Also, we just had context of ES was in this old hourly invert that we never truly retested, and we now are. NQ in a 15-minute fair value gap, like approaching the top half of it, or excuse me, not the top half, but the midpoint, which was right over here. I have different things marked out on different charts, so that way the chart in total doesn't get super cluttered. And then we rejected the lower quadrant of that 5-minute fair value gap above equilibrium of the impulse range. So 1-minute chart looks good in rejecting that 5-minute area, but we'll see if it truly does. It would be incredible if we just caught the top of the whole move and then are coming all the way back down here. That would be sick. That's what we're hoping. Let's hope for that. My stop could be in jeopardy, because if you look at the NQ1 chart, you'll see that there is a gap here, and my stop is right here at 767, or 760, yeah, 767.50. So if NQ does retest this gap, which is likely, I'm out of these runners. ES is strong, YM is strong. It's going to make sense to end up cutting this trade. It's just a matter of this high holds. If this high can hold, then I'll take it as another SMT on the micro time frame. Excuse me, within a 1-minute gap, which is good for us. So we'll hold it above as long as it remains below there. If not, we'll peel at least one off above this high. So that's what we'll do. We'll do a stop buy on one of them, and then the rest will be break even. And that's just from these highs, right, to this high, to this high. But it really looks like it's digging in. We're going to cut it off. No point in even holding another one. I feel like it's going to come up and tap into this area anyway. Stop would still technically be saved, and just like that, we would be stopped out at even. So happy with the recognition that this was the meaningful high. This was a good short. I'm happy with it. I'm just unhappy with the rest of how this day's been. Just really frustrating. Really frustrating and hard to trade. Difficult to find spots of value is really it. You know, it's hard to find a valuable short that works. You know, trades are working, but they're just not. I can't catch follow through these days. This last week, I just have not been able to catch a follow through trade. There's some higher time frame SMT there. May nibble again on it. Let's see how it reacts to the bottom of this 5-minute fair value gap. I like the structure here. Like, I'm not necessarily afraid of the structure. I don't feel like it needs to be ran out. So that's why I'm also okay to be short here. Like, I do think that this could be where a top is formed. Like, if we look at the hourly, I mean, if we don't start like collapsing around here, then I don't see the reason why we don't start taking more of these, you know, these highs. This is a high resistance high up here, but, you know, considering it took these, but I don't see why we wouldn't come right up on over here, you know, either. So that's why I'm kind of apt to take these short trades still. In order to anticipate them. Just toning down the size a little bit. So that way I can kind of manage myself a little bit better here. There's just a lot of strength coming in. Add it into that. See if we'll hold this high. No, we did not. Take it off. Just wicking above it. I mean, we're just trying to pick tops here. I mean, I guess it's just gonna run up higher. I'm not seeing, you know what I mean? Like I literally don't. I'm not seeing why it would turn around. Like, it's not, it's pretty relentless. It is pretty relentless. Yes, now approaching an old new week opening gap. Yeah, we're just ripping. Yeah, yes, using that low. Poor short attempt here. I'm not getting rid of it just yet, though. If anything, I can maybe see NQ taking a high and yes, not. There goes that, right? There's the NQ high and ES not. Short more. Looking for the 5 minute to close back inside the gap as like a fake out breakout. Just getting stuffed at the rejection block. Add more there. Still getting stuffed at the rejection block. Tapped into that high. We're out. Is it really going to shove now? Are you kidding me? Okay, ES fully closed the daily fair value gap with that push up. You know, I think I'm just gonna get short there. On the full closure of the fair value gap on ES. And Q finding support at the 5 minute fair value gap, but I don't really care. Gonna add some into there. Add a little bit of short position. Just look for it to continue that downside move. That's not a helpful spike up. Actually, probably offsides. That seemed like an outgo buy. Added a little bit more as NQ rejects the top end of the 5 minute. I have to look at the regular ES and NQ chart because I think I'm just being led astray with these other candles. Yeah, ES did not take that high. That's actually the same. I wonder if this will be a breakaway. I'm just trying to analyze real quick where I'm wrong here. And the fact that we may be in a breakaway gap. This 5 minute gap may be breakaway. Add a couple more. I'm just clearing some of the position off. We're dancing with this with these lows here. Oh, there, brother. Okay, ES took the low. I'm clearing two more. All right. One o'clock is coming. Adding into that. I want ES to take these lows here. I mean, not ES, excuse me, NQ. It would be so hard to believe. Wow, but it's actually going to hold these. I mean, am I a fool for not being long right now? Maybe I am. Maybe, just maybe. I mean, it's just like buy and pray. That's the day. The day is buy and pray. I don't see it. Precision touch with the volume imbalance. Just not, you know, I'm not swiping at much here. I wonder if we're just going to hang around in the range. Tight stop. Tight stop below this low. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on longs though, even if I get stopped out. The only thing is the problem is I have to make sure that we're not going to come for these equals here. I could just be in the chop zone. That's a 5 minute, like 5 minutes still getting shoved down. It might reject. Thinking ES wants to go into the midpoint of that new week opening gap from last week. So that's why I'm holding, at least in the short term. We have those other stupid highs over here. Add some there. Hoping that this is like really breakaway gap or at least like slight IOFED, like an entry drill just below the low, or not even go into it, obviously, is the best case scenario. But just seeing if we're going to pick up some speed and accelerate out of this realm here. YM is weak. Good push up. Watching for YM to play catch up here. ES to reach into the midpoint of its new week opening gap. NQ just a hair from filling in the 15-minute there. See some more speed. I take off a couple as it starts to move up into our favor and it's still jittering. Stop seems reasonable where it's at. Like, I think we either continue this climb or it's going to like sharp spike down, possibly into this gap where you would look at another long. I just don't see why ES wouldn't move into the midpoint here. And so that's kind of my North Star for like targeting. YM is taking the high, so I'm not terribly afraid of divergence here. Just looking for the next leg to start pushing here. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to scalp partials while we're like up 50 or so. As it starts to take a high, it would probably make a little bit more sense. Let's just measure this out, because I have a feeling that's where it's going to come down to. I'll be forced to get back in. So yes, hitting off the quarter quadrant and finding some support. I like how NQ is running now after ES hit off that quarter of the new week opening gap. It's just rinsing back and forth, which makes it very difficult to play. I'm taking one off as it took that high. Watching ES on the, just looking for some follow through. But Lord knows that has been the the opposite of the theme of where we've been lately. I'm gonna grab some water. Oh, what a day! I feel like every day I've said that. Every day I've said what a day. Just waiting for ES to tap into here. I'm watching on the regular E-mini contract as well. I cannot believe this market just took another one off. Hardest trades are buy high and sell higher. Oh my God. Let's ram the stop up. Is it worth it? Let's see if this fair value gap holds. Moving the stop up even higher now. So I'm thinking like this gap has got to hold me. If not, I'm going to short it off the inversion. Wow, it's really cruising. That's crazy to me. I'm watching ES on an hourly chart on my other screen to take these highs possibly. I'm also going to move this over as a secondary target. Oh, there you go. Man, I think I'm going to call it here. So the long trade just kind of accepted that, like, wow, we created these equals as SMT. Midpoint was holding, or midpoint seemed like a really reasonable draw. If we were going to start to collapse, we should have done it here or here. The way we acted while we were in this retracement was very suspect. After this SMT and still holding the midpoint of this 5-minute fair value gap as support, and then to come up was like kind of like, all right, as much as you don't want to accept that the bias is up, kind of had to. Yeah, and so then we had more just like bullish flow, like bullish price action, disrespecting all bearish PD arrays, ripping up above highs, no turning around. And it's just a relentless rally, which makes a lot of sense going into the news. Like I said before, I felt like the tariff trade was like so obvious. Or like it was too one-sided. Like everybody thought it was just going to be straight down. So clearly the market loves to tell you you're wrong. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. That's unnecessary too. I mean, straight up. Absolute straight up for the day. It's the 15-minute. We don't need this anymore. It's literally no help. That's crazy. Do you think we're headed back here? That'd be nuts, wouldn't it? I mean, wow. If the market ran all the way up here just to go back down, we would be so screwed. I mean, talk about a nasty collapse. If we took this and then they started selling it back down again. Yuck, dude. The question now is, do you think ES would hold this high? Technically it should, because it's an up close, it's an order block. So this high is quote unquote protected. So that's why I have this marked out, because this would be the stupid top. And of course it's not going to give me my entry, because it's just going to run away. That is so how it would work. Get so close to taking the highs, and then just turn around. Two minute, 1 minute. Grinding down. I don't know, the narrative makes too much sense. Fed reverse repo. I mean, that would be nuts. Small size. Measured out half of the impulse leg down, came up, touched it, swept the high, SMT. Now let's just kind of see what's going on here. Because again, it's like, this would be like the part almost where it seems like it's obvious that it should take these highs, and then it just doesn't, just turns around just because, like I said, it's technically should be a protected high anyway out of the ES. I mean, we have this wickless 15-minute candle, which is not confidence inducing. But yeah, I feel like if you chase it higher here, you probably get burnt, like badly. Like if you're holding a long, like if you buy a long in like this retracement zone, I feel like it really just runs it against you like hard. So that's why I'm short here. Along with obvious, technical entries, but the narrative almost makes too much sense that like, I mean, look, I've been trying to short all day, right? And I finally turned around and started to take longs. And now I'm starting to like feel like, okay, longs are it at the top. To me, how would I get hurt the worst is trying to long it in here, trying to find value in a retracement, and then just it completely collapse all over me and me never have a chance, So I think I'm just kind of assuming the worst in terms of narrative. Like if I were to finally flip like it took me this long to flip my bias, typically when I'll get proven right. So I'm going to give it another chance to prove me right. Obviously, with super small size, if we move over to the trading view chart, we gently tapped into the hourly gap here that's like super balanced. If it does begin to run, I mean, there's no question that we take these highs, very low resistance. But yeah, I don't know. ES is a little worrisome, the way it's finding support inside the midpoint of the gap of the last week's week opening gap. That's really like my only scary point. But I just feel like it gives it up. I just feel like it's like, I don't know. I feel like the obvious upside flow is going to get faded at some point. I just feel like that's now. So I kind of have to be cool with fading it again. So let's see ES just give up the midpoint here. I'd like to just, hold on for dear life here on the short. Maybe they give me my pivot finally and I just catch the top and hold happily ever after. Strong 1 minute close below these set of close candles is good news for me. Oh my God. Back into the 15-minute fair value gap here that we just closed above. That's what I don't love. Let's see if the 1 minute holds for me. Oh, come on, man. Why don't I ever get that right? I added one, even though I'm like instantly regretting it because this candle didn't stab above the other one. I don't think I'm like wrong per se. I just, I was just timing wise. Yes, finding support at the midpoint of the new week opening gap. Hate to see it. Another shitty top. Excuse my language. So intermediate target is definitely this gap. With all these little lows around it. So again, this is like the scenario where I feel like I'd be trying to buy this somewhere and just get absolutely slapped, like finally it rolls over. So that's why I'm short in terms of narrative. Technicals, we kind of went over that already up here and with the protected high on ES and whatnot. So I'm just kind of looking for like, the long buyer to get slapped around here again. I mean, this is like worlds over. 4 standard deviations to the upside from the manipulative leg. Like way over. Can we even find another one? Another manipulative leg? It would be this one. There you go. Hit 2. Came around. That's measuring this leg top to bottom. Traveled a little over 2 standard deviations and started to roll over. We have a new 15-minute candle in about 2 minutes. That's not great, what just happened here on the 15-minute chart. I'm going to take a look at that through the lens of the NQ contract. Actually, even worse because it's a perfect touch. Probably going to come up for these highs here. So I need to take advantage of that and clear one off because I'm almost positive it's gonna make a run above these highs. So as soon as we got that down move, I opted to take 20 off here. And if it just runs forever, then so be it. I'm gonna be happy with the way I just managed that. So I'm like super sure that we're coming for these highs. Stop to even. $15-minute new candle coming into play. Just opened there. I'm holding for this. It's either even or down here. It's really down here in the trail, but even or down here first. There you go. Target hit. It's close enough for me. Yeah, tapped into it there. I'm going to close out. I'm pretty sure that these highs get ran. I hate how that's how they were built because otherwise I would be holding onto this trade. Just for the sake of the overarching narrative again of like being so sure that like everyone turns bullish. Like I turn bullish up here. If I tried to buy this, it would smack the crap out of me. I'm going to just be done for today now. I obviously was on a pretty good tilt bender there. Not proud of that. You know, it's obviously embarrassing to have that in a live stream, but it's real, you know. I feel like because I was on live, it was definitely to a degree less of like full-blown tilt. But still, like I was definitely peeved, you know, at a lot of these trades. Um, Proud enough of how I wasn't a complete donkey about it, but and then happy about this trade here. I'm happy about this narrative trade. That I can end on a positive note. Happy that I added into it, and happy that I took it off where I did. Because if these highs weren't here, then I would 100% be holding this trade. But just because of the way we built these, I'm not like I hate everything about it. So yeah, confidence obviously when we leaked below this set of up close candles, that was kind of the tell for me that I'm on side. That's why I added more into this retracement. And yeah, took it off. I mean, I'll take this red day over, you know, I think at one point we floated like down 800. And that's like when I knew in my head, I was like, you're tilting, you're tilting, you're tilting, you're tilting. And this is painful to watch too. Just watch it like completely leak. Watch it go all the way down. I'll be happy that I made the right call. um, like little blood. And you know what else was kind of good about today's stream, even though it was I was tilted, it definitely kind of let me rip off the band-aid as far as like sizing goes. I said screw it. Ugh. Like, you know, trade a little bit heavier and it'll be what it'll be on stream at least, because that's typically the size that I like to throw on it. 3 to 5 at a minimum, or at least 3 at a minimum. I typically don't really trade one contract with these evaluations. It's just it takes a lot of time. So let's end it there. Could have been a scratch day, and like down here when we had that first like little scalp trade, would have been up like 150 or something on the day. But was looking for more, so I'm not incredibly frustrated with that. I mean, it sucks that I didn't take it in that we went on this crazy, crazy run from, you know, just getting demolished and then accepting that we were demolished, taking the long, you know, yada yada. Or it was actually like over, yeah, it was within here that we took the long up to the midpoint. Yep. All right. This is like got to be like watching paint dry for everybody, but that's the real. Actually, let me just get out of here. We're going to do this. Ensure no stupidity. And that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. It's a 2-part stream today. Today was probably a great example of what not to do. Except for the good parts. Do the good parts. Don't do the bad parts. What a frustrating day, man. Disappointed. Just really disappointed in, you know, no follow through on trades. Didn't act the best. Also had the fat finger right before I left for my appointment, which was like right around here. Was long here, fat finger 2 off at this high instead of all, you know, just 5 or something, or maybe it was like around here. I don't even know. That could have been like a locked in quick $200 day and then would have been done, never looked back. So yeah, tough read. Now would you look at that? So breakaway gaps, here's another little hint on why I wanted to hold if this wasn't the way it was. When you enter into a breakaway gap, it typically, like, you can count on that becoming an inversion. It should have never been entered in the first place. Like a good breakaway gap is going to be just never visited again until the narrative is changed. So once we were in it, you could expect to see this type of action. Usually it's pretty swift right through it. Here we played around, hit the midpoint, and then, you know, it's another. This is like another tradable opportunity. This is a good scalp. So yeah, but again, these highs kept us out. That's it. We will see you guys later.